Welcome, everybody, this evening, and we're going to be talking about how to detox heavy metals from our bodies and our environment. I wanted to welcome. We're going to have Dr. Udani and Dr. Justine. We realize that you might have some questions this evening, some things that are weighing on your mind about heavy toxins. Dr. Justine is available at the following number, 647-987-9355, or you can speak with Dr. Justine and or Dr. Udani in the actual office upon your next visit. I wanted to take a moment and I wanted to welcome Dr. Justine and Dr. Udani. Dr. Justine is our resident and owner of Justine Blaney Wellness Chiropractic Clinic. She's a very passionate motivational speaker. She's also an author. She is extremely passionate about our personal health care, each an individual, but the natural way to get to health care, because it's really important. Because she really does think that we all deserve optimal health care, the preventive approach to health care, and making sure that we can have an open and honest communication with our healthcare team. Dr. Udani is with us this evening as well, and she is our resident naturopathic doctor, and she is very excited to be able to share with the naturopathic approach when we're talking about heavy metals, and she genuinely is passionate about making sure that everybody has the ability and believes truly that we all have our ability to heal ourselves from within, and making healthy and lifelong choices and changes within for our healthcare. So please help me welcome Dr. Justine and Dr. Udani.
All right, some great stuff coming up for us. We have a Monday night series called our Master Series with Fearless going on. So click into that every 6 weeks on Monday nights on how to deal with the fear around the pandemic and how to boost your immune system, boost your health from within with Dr. Udani. But on the Tuesday nights, we have next week, we have this on October 6th, the interview with Sabine, our holistic nutritionist. Dr. Udani and myself will be talking about inflammation, and not just pain from a fall or a car accident, a whiplash, injuring your back, but how to deal with systemic inflammation. Following that, Dr. Udani and I will be going over nutrition for chronic disease, talking about the do's, the don'ts of the keto diet, paleo diet, advanced plan, how to do the clean keto versus dirty keto. And following that, I will be doing an interview with Sachi, our physiotherapist, talking about the ways physiotherapy can help you, what kind of conditions he treats, and injuries that he works with, and the different types of modalities and therapies that he uses. So stay tuned, share with friends. This is free, and our way to give back. During these tough times, we want to be able to reach out to you. So we're going to talk about toxins, and toxins are scary. They're everywhere. You breathe them in, you sit on them on the couch, you clean with them. They're in our foods, they're in our water. They are everywhere, especially when we think of lead, mercury, aluminum. It's so easy to get these things into our bodies, into our diets without trying. It just happens. So we want to talk about different ways to detox and the ones that we want to avoid. When we have this toxic load, these toxins, they can affect our eyes. They can affect our nervous system. That's where it affects chiropractic work. It can affect weight gain. Have you ever tried to lose weight and hit a plateau? Are you no weight, weight loss system works for you? If you have toxins, they'll hold in your fat to protect you. So you need to detox in order to be able to lose the weight. It can affect sexual function and testosterone, estrogen. It can affect inflammation in our joints. It can affect acid reflux and our digestive system. It can affect our memory in our brains. It can affect irritable bowel. It can affect cancer. So toxins are really a serious part in our bodies where we want to learn how to function and be able to remove them, to avoid them, to detox them. But if we're working on detox, we should do it with a coach. And that's why Dr. Udani is here. This can be truly unsafe if we try to detox on our own. I do believe that you want to have some coaching along the way.
Yes, I completely agree with what Dr. Justine said. You need a coach. These are not yes.
Or you can go through some severe symptoms with detox. You can, and not just headaches, migraines, diarrhea, constipation, sweats, rashes, but it could be even worse if these toxins dump into your different organs and you're not able to truly eliminate them. See, heavy metal, there's all different kinds, where there's this huge list from tin to copper to lead to aluminum, but really it's anything with a density of 5 grams per centimeter cubed. And it has zero beneficial role to your health, but it gets dumped into your system and it binds to your proteins in your body, so your proteins can't function at their best, and it can cause cellular interference, oxidative stress, and chronic inflammation. It can affect your mitochondria. So it's going to affect chronic inflammation, oxidative stress, and cellular interference with these metals. And that can lead to an acute response. And then that allows you to handle it quick. But even worse, if it builds up slow, you don't even notice. And you lead to a chronic response. And then you think that sluggishness, that loss of memory, that chronic or that fatigue levels, or the inflammation in all your joints, you start to think it's normal because it built up over time.
Yes, and that's why it could be so worrying, because it starts to build up slowly over time. So you don't even realize that your exposure is going up. And then, at that point, sometimes your organs of elimination, like your liver, are overwhelmed, they're too taxed. So when you think about eliminating of any kind of toxin, your liver is the #1 organ, right? Because all of your blood actually goes through your liver and then it gets almost filtered. And then so your liver comes to contact with heavy metals, medications, viruses and bacteria and things like that. So it's the main control center that really detoxifies you. So sometimes, like Dr. Justine mentioned, when it is that slowly over time rising exposure of heavy metals, the liver can't handle it. So it'll start to deposit these metals into our organs, like the brain, for example, to our bones, fat cells, their joints, our blood. It might even show up on our skin. So that's where it gets really, really dangerous and really tricky, because you'll notice all those symptoms of sluggishness, memory loss, joint pains start to pile up. And that's one of the reasons why it's really important to reduce your exposure for heavy metals and to really speak to a professional to find ways to safely get it out of your system. So if we talk about why this is like this intoxication, all these toxins are coming together, is because these heavy metals are filling up our inflammation bucket. So when we're healthy, this inflammation bucket is not even halfway filled, right? We can handle it. Our livers are working fine. Our kidneys are working fine. We're healthy. But when we're building diseases, this is when this starts to get higher and higher. And let's say you have a fatty liver. Let's say you have diabetes or high blood pressure and your kidneys are affected. Let's say you've been sitting for so long, you have back pain, so you have nerve issues. So the nerves supplying your kidneys aren't functioning properly. Let's say you have digestive concerns. So there, your organs of elimination are not working properly because of that. So then these toxins, these heavy metals starts to build up and you get symptoms of these diseases. And when it overflows, that's when you really realize how dangerous it can be, because you see all of these symptoms coming together. You're noticing all these diseases coming. So some symptoms of heavy metal toxicity is chronic fatigue, trouble losing weight, like Dr. Justine mentioned, chronic pain. You can get allergies, digestive issues, headaches, brain fog, cold hands and feet, because heavy metals can deposit in your nerves. So you get those tingling sensations, skin problems, even affects your mood, like depression. So these are all symptoms of heavy metal toxicity that you need to keep an eye out to make sure that it's not, it's something we need to get out of your body. So we're going to talk about a little bit some of the most common heavy metals, starting with lead.
So if we just going back to that last slide, Angela, if you can help, I just want you to notice Dr. Jockers. And this talk a lot of information came with Dr. Jockers. He has a great website, and definitely go back to his article here on heavy metals, and you can learn more as well. But he has some great information. If you see this slide, he also talks about poor immunity. And this is really important in this time to see a naturopath to make sure that you don't have a toxic load. And then if you're going to do a detox, you do it in a safe way. I know a lot of people with the stress, the anxiety going on, they're not getting a good night's sleep. And you want to make sure you have the right melatonin. You're not under oxidative stress. You're not being affected with this brain fog by these toxins that's going to increase your risks of being completely unhealthy or of getting sick in the future. So definitely take a look at Dr. Jocker's information. Those who are at more risk with heavy toxicity are those with leaky gut, those with a liver damage or have chronic infections over and over, those with sugar imbalances who are diabetic, micronutrient deficiencies. How would you even know you had a micronutrient deficiency if you didn't get tested? Very important to see the naturopath for those tests. And any lack of function with the gut, the liver, gallbladder, or the kidneys, or those are under extreme emotional stress, would be more at risk with these heavy metal toxicities, and even need more to be able to see the naturopath to have the right testing done. So like Dr. Udani said, we have a list of different toxins that can be affected. And one of the ones that we want to touch base with is lead. Now, first we used to think of lead as lead paint, and many people knew that lead paint, lead toys, that would lead to toxicity. You didn't want kids licking the walls or licking the toys and getting extremely, not just a little sick, but extremely sick. But lead is also found in cosmetics. You see more and more, I know I was curious, and I'm not sure what's in it, and I can't figure it out, but it's this mascara that sort of has a metallic eyeliner and then it magnetically attaches the eyelashes. And my first thought is, if it's magnetic, it has metal and is close to your eyes. Could that be bad for you? And so a lot of cosmetics have lead in them and have heavy metals in them that we want to avoid. So I try to stay with looking at, I use Tarte, but look at products that don't have toxicities in them for cosmetic products, including your shampoos, your conditioners, your deodorants. Of course, tobacco products would have lead contamination, but a lot of foods can be contaminated, and tap water can be contaminated. And some of the symptoms of lead toxicity is poor memory. Now, how many people need a list to get to the grocery store, a list for their list, or lose their list? Or do you know how many times my mom loses her glasses? Oh my goodness. So how about you? Like, do you go running upstairs for something and can't remember what you ran upstairs for? Go to the fridge and can't remember what you were looking for? Are we seeing these signs of toxicity more and more affecting our memory, affecting our moods, things like depression, affecting things like ADHD, ADD, affecting even in utero? So very important for pregnant women, especially if you're thinking of getting pregnant, do your detox before getting pregnant if you can, to make sure that you're safer. So these damaging effects of lead can affect children in your brain, in their bones, and their growing, in their nervous system. So we want a healthy environment. It affects in the brain, for our memory loss for adults. It affects our blood pressure circulated. It affects our body with fatigue and in our joints. And that's why at the Justine Blaine Wellness Center, we recommend working with a team, because a chiropractor can't know it all. And a naturopath can't know it all. And an acupuncturist can't know it all. But together, working together and having your healthcare team work for you, that's how you're going to be the healthiest possible. And so these toxicities, We're going to go through a series of them, and they all have similar symptoms. It is important to have it tested and properly removed.
Exactly. And that's, I can't stress enough the fact that it should be tested and properly removed, because once these heavy metals are out in the bloodstream, you don't know where they're going. They could be deposited in other organs. And instead of doing that, we wanted to get it out of your system, right? So we wanted to maybe pass through urine or pass through your stool. So that's why it's important to consult, do some testing first to see what your baseline, if you are suspecting a heavy metal toxicity, and then do it in a safe way, because you don't want to overload your body too much at a certain time either. So another heavy metal that has very similar effects to lead is arsenic. So you can actually get arsenic from, for example, rice, and even apple juice has been shown to have traces of arsenic in it. And arsenic really affects your energy because it starts to break down your mitochondria. So mitochondria is in all of our cells, and this is like this little machine that produces the energy that we all need to function. So what arsenic does is it can stop this machine from working. So that way you feel tired, you feel that brain fog, you can't focus, and it can also deposit in other organs, causing some of the similar effects. So it's why it's really important to make sure you're reducing that exposure, but also to see what kind of symptoms are, so you can make sure you're getting it out of your system. So another one that is similar is mercury. So Dr. Justine, if you like.
Mercury has been known to especially be found in your teeth, in your dental amalgams. And very, very important to find that a dentist who has the proper venting systems to be able to get rid of the mercury or the amalgam fillings because of the off-gassing. But it's also found in different fishes. I know my mom had mercury toxicity, and they think that probably helped lead to her losing her hair, as well as cancer, because she used to play with thermometers, and she actually played with mercury, not knowing as a child. You will see that it can be a preservative for different vaccines and different medications. It can be found in different creams, and in different work environments. So mercury, definitely has many different areas to monitor, but then we know that it affects your brain, it affects your nervous system, it affects your liver, it affects your kidneys. So it can lead to symptoms like brain fatigue, mood disorders, memory concerns, affecting your different joints and your different organs in your body.
Yeah, and mercury is one of those metals that just loves the nerves, right? It loves to be in the fat, so in the brain. So a lot of patients that might be experiencing Alzheimer's could potentially have some mercury toxicity in it. And yeah, it's also really popular in a lot of skin creams, especially for any skin brightening creams. It's a hidden ingredient. So it's something that in Canada, it is much more regulated. But in other countries, for example, if you are buying it from another country, you got to make sure that it's a very low level and nothing too super high. Yes. So another heavy metal is cadmium. So cadmium is water soluble. So that means it can really get into anywhere because it can travel freely in your bloodstream. And it has shown to affect the developing brain in children. So it can also affect, it's been shown to affect, increase your chance of breast cancer, get some cardiovascular diseases, affect your lungs, so it can have obstructive pulmonary disease, kidneys, because kidneys filter out water. So if cadmium is water soluble, it's going to end up in the kidneys. And that's one of those organs that really doesn't regenerate. Our livers can handle it because it can regenerate, but over time, our kidneys are one of those organs that is really hard. Once it's damaged, there is really no going back with kidneys. And then similar to the other metals, it can get deposited in bones. So all these heavy metals can actually switch places with calcium and magnesium and get deposited in bones, and then just start to break it down and give you fractures. So anytime you're noticing pain with any spinal issues or anything with your bones, it's really important to consult a chiropractor just to make sure that you aren't noticing any reduced bone formation.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Udani. The next one we're going to talk about is aluminum. And we hear of aluminum a lot because it's the third most common element in the earth, but it's very much talked about because of Alzheimer's. It actually has no biological role in our bodies, and it interferes with many of our other elements like iron, phosphorus, and calcium. And we can be exposed to aluminum through different medications, vaccinations, processed foods, deodorants or antiperspirants, canned foods, canned drinks, and tap water. So it's a scary part because it can be found in our homes and it can be found in our tissues. And the scary part is that it can pass that blood-brain barrier, affecting our brain, and that's why you see accumulation can lead to Alzheimer's. So definitely one of the ones that we want to be able to have a focus on for regular detox rather than waiting until all the damage is done.
So this is all about why it's really important to make sure you're detoxing, because this can have generational effects. So as you can see in generation one, she was smoking, but then especially if you're pregnant and you're smoking in those traces, because you're not just getting the nicotine, which in itself is really bad, but you're also getting those heavy metals in the cigarettes. That's affecting the child's growth and development. So in the second generation, when that baby is when that person's an adult and is pregnant, so she's passing down that genetic material to the child. So you can really see how it affects in the third generation all these negative consequences of the person that was the first, so your grandmother, for example. And Dr. Justine, I find this really fascinating is the fact that as women, the eggs that we carry for the rest of our lives is created when we were children in our mother's wombs. Wow. So isn't that just so fascinating? That means our grandmothers had so much influence genetically over how we were created and our health. So that's why it's important to make sure you're detoxing before it gets to this level. And especially when you're pregnant, like you mentioned, make sure you go on a detox before you start to think about having children, for example.
So there's many different ways to do the heavy metal testing. Can you share a little bit about that with us, Dr. Udani?
Yes, so there are a lot of, we call them functional tests that are done to measure your exposure, and we can also test to see how good are you in eliminating and clearing these heavy metals. So some of the most common ones are, for example, is a 24-hour urine test. So we collect urine samples over a 24-hour period, and then we measure the any traces of any of the most common heavy metals. There's another one, it is a hair mineral analysis. So that's where we take a little patch of hair from close to your scalp, because that will give you the most recent testing for the traces. And then you measure the trace, if there are any traces of heavy metals. So this is why I personally believe it's important to test first, because that way we know, okay, we're starting off at this baseline. We know which metal are you most heavily intoxicated with and how to get rid of that. So, but there are a lot of functional tests as a naturopath that I can order if you are considering a possibility of being exposed to heavy metals.
And I personally went through this about 10 years ago. I did the hair analysis, and part of it, everything was great, and I felt good, except for cadmium. And I was like, where the heck am I getting that? And the only thing that we could come up with was potentially the hair shampoo or hair products that I was using, because I was using all Melaleuca, I was using all clean products already, but I made so many changes in my life. So I made that change afterwards and then retested. So sometimes it is something like I had zero symptoms. I had no idea that I had this metal toxicity, and I didn't have any of the other aluminum or lead, but it was one that I totally wasn't even looking for, that I found that I was toxic with and had to do a detox. So definitely recommend um, checking it out, and it's not something you have to do every single month, but it is something that you can monitor along with your coach, with your naturopath, to make sure you're on the right track. So we want to cover some 10 ways to detox, 10 ways to detox strategies, some of these that you can do just on your own. We can hydrate, drink lots of water, right? Half your body weight in ounces. I have my water right here. So lots and lots of water. There you go. A healing in diet. That's why we cover so many talks on nutrition. That's why we have talks coming up about intermittent fasting, getting regular exercise, and challenging your body with surges or hit high intensity exercises, getting more greens juices, chlorella, greens powders. But again, then you want to monitor them with the naturopath, because sometimes that can cause a lot of diarrhea or flatulence. And you don't maybe want some of that at work either. So find the right way of greens for you. But sometimes it can just easily be added to a drink or a smoothie or as a capsule. Sweating, so healthy. You gotta sweat. The more you sweat, the less you smell when you sweat. So you want to be able to sweat those toxins out, and that can be done with different forms of saunas. Essential oils, oil pulling. That's when you can use coconut oil, coconut butter, and you swish it around through your gums. So if you're prone to cavities and gum disease, this is really healthy. And Dr. Jockers, Dr. Mercola have lots of different articles about oil pulling. Improving your bowel motility. Well, that's not so easy. You do need to have a plan for that. If you have challenges with your digestion or acid reflux or GERD or irritable bowel, finding the right supplements. Do you need to be on kimchi? Do you need to have sauerkraut? Like, what is specific for you? I knew that my own husband had to find a plan for him so that, and that allowed every other system work better because of the brain gut reaction. And then our activated charcoal, I think, should be something, again, used with supervision. You want to make sure that you're not going to hurt yourself by using activated charcoal. So do it in a safe way.
Yes.
You want to please go over some of these advanced detox strategies with us? That would be helpful.
For sure, and I completely agree. You have to make sure you are you're supporting your body's main organs that are elimination. So detoxification, elimination. That's your liver, that is your kidneys, your gut, your skin. So you have to support these organs and support the way they're functioning. And like you said, it's important to have a make sure it's optimized, but also with somebody, because you also don't want to be overdoing with, for example, the activated charcoal, because that can actually prevent absorption of other important minerals and vitamins. So making sure there's a good balance. And then, of course, we have to make sure that these heavy metals are removed at the cellular level. So we don't want to start eliminating the cellular level if your organs aren't functioning properly, because that's going to create this backlog. It'll be like a drain, like a clogged drain that's just going to make sure it goes everywhere, because our organs that do the main elimination are working fine. So that means we want to make sure we're supporting our liver, our kidney, our skin, and our gut, making sure we're going to the washroom regularly, drinking the water, being hydrated before we go down to the cellular level to pull these metals out. And that's another thing, is same with the replacing these minerals that are pulled out with the healthier ones like calcium and magnesium, so that they don't bind to these spots again and again. So I always tell my patients, make sure you're getting your magnesium, make sure you're getting your zinc and calcium, because when you're deficient in these minerals, there's all these spots that are available for these heavy metals to bind to, you know? And then that's why it's really important to make sure you're topping up with food or with nutrients or with supplements, whatever you can. But of course, speaking with somebody to make sure it's good for you and your lifestyle. Yes. So like I said before, you have to make sure your kidneys, your liver, and your gut is working fine. And then same with your blood, and the quality of your cells will improve once those are improving. So I believe Dr. Justine is going to go a little bit more in detail with these products, but these are the ones that are most important for any kind of detoxification.
So this is Dr. Jocker's products in his article. So I wanted to honor him, but you do want to specify the product with your health practitioner. So here's some examples though of organic super greens and organic essential oils. So we sell the essential oils at the office. We sell the probiotics. We sell the vitamin D3, the vitamin B3, but sometimes you need sources that I'm not a health food store. I can't offer everything at the office, but in order to make sure it's customized to which organ it's affecting you, you do want to talk to your health professional. So if you look at the next few slides, you will see there are products like this that have metal detoxes, or the next one is a mineral support. You want to make sure you're customizing it to you. You're not just adding a bunch of products you're taking on a regular basis. I look to try and do a detox as the seasons change. So 4 times a year, look to a detox system. And sometimes a detox system is a weekend of just fasting. That could be a detox. Another detox could be just a fruit and veggie weekend, you know, just and less food, really just more fluids through that time. So you want to make sure that it doesn't always have to be buying products, but you still want to do it in a safe way, because sometimes you want to be close to a bathroom, so you don't want to be doing it when you have a holiday, you know. So you want to make sure that it's also related to your lifestyle and the challenges that you have in your nutrition, in the way you eat, to make sure that the detox and the metals match the potential challenges that you might have.
Exactly. And one of the other great ways that you can help with clearing heavy metals is making sure your lymphatic system is optimally working. So the lymphatic system is it's almost like a cousin for the immune system. This is where the immune cells, it's like the highway for them to travel everywhere. It's also where most of your fat is being transported from to your organs. It collects the fluid from your cells and then takes it to your blood vessels, for example. So it's in a system that is everywhere. You know, it's really important for eliminating toxins, making sure your immune system is functioning well. So some symptoms where your lymphatic system isn't working are, for example, you have clogged ears. That's because there's a lot of lymph nodes, which are part of the lymphatic system, around that area. So if you're noticing clogged ears, that means there's something clogging it upstream. Same thing with constipation, unexplained soreness in your muscles because that fluid isn't being able to leave the muscles. Confusion or brain fog. So because that fluid is still remaining with those toxins and the wastes, the brain isn't able to flush it down. Itchy or dry skin, sore throats, inflamed tonsillitis, congestion. So once again, that lymphatic system being backed up by something. Because it's part of the immune system, if you have a weaker lymphatic system, you're going to notice some viruses, some frequent infections, lots of fluid retention. If you notice ever you have that swelling in your lower legs after sitting down for a while, that's a sign that your lymphatic system might not be working as optimally, because that helps bring that fluid back up into the main core of your body, you know? So once again, fatigue, food or chemical sensitivities, weight gain, increased allergies, and the enlarged glands, the lymph nodes, are all signs that your lymph system is not working optimally. And we want it to be working well because it's one of the great ways that our body eliminates toxins.
So But Dr. Udani is definitely explained, like, you see that massive list of where toxins can go in your lymph nodes. And you also, I know when my mom had cancer, it was always about, is the cancer in the lymph nodes, right? Because that's where the junk goes. So we know intuitively that the lymph system is super important. So we want to talk about ways to clear that lymph system. And one of them is the deep breathing, just focusing in on, 5 in, 5 out, and then 10 in and 10 out, and 15 in and 15 out. Trying to get so that we take 10 breaths a minute, then 8 breaths a minute, then 6 breaths a minute. So that we're really putting your hands on your belly if you need to, or hands on your chest, just to slow that breathing down to get more movement of breath. Getting the right water, the right exercise. Rebounding is like one of those mini trampolinas that you just bounce just a little bit. But if you don't have a trampolina, you could easily just bounce with your knees gently, just to create system. And it doesn't have to be for an hour. It could be for the commercials when you watch TV, or even if you're watching the negative news. Bounce while you're watching the negative news. Dry brushing, super important. They're long kind of wooden brushes with about an end about this big that looks kind of like a dog brush, but it's much softer on the end, and you brush the skin towards your heart. And yes, you will get rid of some dead skin, but more it's impacting the lymphatics. It's very soft. It's very healing. If you get someone else to do it for you, it feels good. Healing Epsom salt baths, and sometimes talking to naturopaths about essential oils that could help you with those baths, different herbal remedies, the alternating showers. We're going to talk a little bit more about those. Massage therapists, we do have massage therapy in the office, and they do lymphatic drainage massages. So do naturopaths, I believe, can help with lymphatic drainage. And if you are able to get to a sauna or have a sauna, using a sauna can help with lymphatic drainage. We want to make sure, of course, you're getting that oxygen. So you see the breathing exercises, slowing that breath from, 18 breaths, trying to get towards that 6 breaths, just slowing that breath down to help for that lymphatic drainage. The water, ideally not tap water. You're looking for filtered water. We have the filtered water at our office, but really just more water, not juice, not coffee, not tea, not pop, not Gatorade, all right, but water. Our body is designed to have water. It will help all of the organs, all of the joints in your body.
Mm-hmm. And we are mostly water, our body's of water. So our cells need that water to help remove everything, increase all that removal of those toxins.
And if you don't like water, add lemon, add some frozen fruit at the bottom to make it a little bit, different each time. You can add often an alkaline drop, like a little greens drop, a mint drop. So you can change the water if you find that you need to. But honestly, I think over time, majority of people can get used to it. I know my mom would say, I gotta go to the bathroom. I gotta go to the bathroom. I can't drink it before bed. Your body gets used to that too. And the more you drink, the more you essentially can hold it. I do know that after having kids, it's a little harder. I get it. But it is something that you still want to work towards, adding more water. That 8 glasses a day comes from being about 150, 160 pounds. And that's 8 10-ounce glasses a day. But if you drink a lot of coffee, then it's more water. And if you weigh more than 160 pounds, then you want to be adding more water each time. So half your body weight in ounces. So if you're 200 pounds, that would be 10 10-ounce glasses of water a day. Next one was movement. We talked about that lymphatic, like bounding and jumping, that improves your circulation. It helps your body reduce stress. It helps your moods and your happiness, and it helps you get rid of those toxicities in your body.
Yes, so this is what Dr. Justine was mentioning about that bouncing, because you're helping your body work against the gravity, right? Because gravity will pull everything down to the ground, but with this even for a little, like 10 minutes, it's helping the fluid go up against these vessels, these valves, sorry, that help it push up so that you're getting to the heart with each bounce, basically. This actually looks very fun. I would love to do this when I'm just watching news or, need a break. This looks great. Okay, another way that we can help detoxify our lymphatic system is dry brushing. So I actually recommend this for any of my patients that have any skin conditions, because a lot of times, these heavy metals or toxins can deposit in your skin and it's just having a hard time being eliminated. So dry brushing is so relaxing. It just touches everything in your body. It increases circulation. You're getting the exfoliation as well. So this is something you can do every night after you take a shower, just to help movement of your lymph. And it is really easy. You just move towards your heart, from your feet all the way to up. And it's just one of those very relaxing but yet effective ways to help with your lymphatic flow. There are also some great herbal therapies for detoxification and for increasing your lymphatic flow. And, doesn't mean you have to be taking all of these. You can definitely follow the other ones we said about increasing your water intake, doing the exercises and things like that. This is more specifically if you're needing the extra help detoxifying, is where I would suggest these herbs. But of course, this is where you would want to speak to somebody so that you're not, spending the money buying these things and finding out they're not working for you. So Turkey rhubarb, sheep sorrel, slippery elm bark are great herbs for helping with your immune system, helping with your smooth muscles, your intestines. They are great for reducing inflammation. And one of my favorites is the slippery elm bark because it tastes great and it's great for respiratory issues. It helps the congestion go away. And some other ones are astragalus root, graviola, bioactive carbon, lymphatic support, like we mentioned before. Astragalus root, you can make it in a tea and you can take it in the morning, for example. It's a great Chinese medicinal herb that's shown to be really good for stress, managing your stress, managing your immune boosting. It's actually been in a lot of herbal formulas for longevity. So if you want to live longer, they say to take some astragalus root. So some of the other ones are, bioactive carbon. So that's like a binder, right? Binding these toxins and getting it out of your system. And then lymphatic support, just to have that increased flow, getting it all down to your gut so that it can be removed.
So this one, I can't tell you I like this. I don't like doing this at all. I used to do like ice baths after like really heavy workouts, and like I'm in and I'm out. It's not my thing for that either. I would only do it when I was like my muscles were so sore. But at spas, they have this where you can go from the cold right into the hot and back and forth. And in the shower, you could do the same thing. You could go hot and then cold and then hot and cold and then cold. I get that it makes the circulation that much better, but it isn't that much fun. But that's me. I have talked to some patients and they're like, no big deal. Like it's easy for them because they know they're not going to be cold at the end. And it really does improve their circulation, improves the achiness in their joints, improves their energy. So you have to try it. Right. And you can't try it once. You got to try it and see if it works for you over a month. They normally say to change a habit, you need a month. So give it a shot. If it's something that can improve your circulation, it's literally doesn't cost you any more different than you would have if you had a regular shower. So try it.
And honestly, I feel like this wakes you up more than a coffee will, ending in that cold shower. Oh, especially if you need the extra pick me up, that's the thing to do. Massage therapists, we have them at the office, but you do need to book in advance.
because they do book up quickly. Now we have the Jane app so that you can download the app and be able to book your massages in advance. On a Sunday afternoon, you can organize the specific times for yourself. Many people, for example, like Friday nights, are booking right till 2021, the Friday nights, once every 2 weeks or once a month to get their favorite times to end their week well, or they want Saturdays, to have that special treat to look forward to. So definitely book your massage in advance, but it does reduce the muscle tension, reduce stress, but help your body deal with heavy metals and toxicity and sluggishness and lymphatic drainage. So talk to your massage therapist about the kind of massages you want, because some do do you want relaxation? Do you want deep tissue? Do you want sport specific, injury specific? Do you want lymphatic drainage? You want to be able to make sure that it's focused to your specific goals. Now, the sauna, not everybody has access to saunas. Many of the saunas are closed through the city, but it definitely it's all about sweating, and sweating is good. So if you can't get to a sauna, get moving, right? Get your body sweating, which is great.
They've actually found that sweating helps eliminate a lot of the heavy metal toxins. There's a study that they did. Sweating helped with eliminating lead, arsenic, and mercury and things. So it's a really great way. And yes, just exercise or do it at your pace. Take it easy, and then just make sure you're able to sweat at least once a week. I would say probably more if you say Dr. Justine.
But our goal is to exercise minimum 5 days a week. So if you can get sweating 5 days a week, wonderful. But like Dr. Udani said, like a good sweat, like a really good sweat, at least once a week, where you need to change that shirt, like that shirt is soaking wet. That's a great way to help detoxify and help remove those heavy metals. All right, guys. Thanks for sticking with us. Dr. Udani and I just want to give back to you. We have so much more to share. We have our talk about inflammation. Do you wake up with achy joints? Do you have arthritis or friends with arthritis? Have you had areas where, you've heard of fatty liver? You've heard of, areas of concerns that's affecting your back, your joints, your nervous system? Nutrition plays a huge role with inflammation, and it affects not just pain, but all functions of all organs in your body. And if you have a family or friends that are dealing with chronic disease, cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and you want to learn the right nutrition, that's our talk on the 20th. That is a 2-hour event. That's our biggest event for the rest of the year, where we're going to cover so much information about the keto diet, the dirty keto, the clean keto, paleo versus advanced plan, the foods of healing. We're going to cover the healing foods that you want to add to your diet, 22 healing foods that you can add more of instead of always talking about what to remove. So join us, and share with family, share with friends and coworkers so they too can be healthier and have less risk of fatigue, of overwhelm, of stress, of fear, of sickness. We want to work on that entire lifestyle, the chiropractic, the healthy naturopathic lifestyle. So join us. Dr. Udani and I have so much to give, and we're so happy you're with us today. If you have a chance to do a review, please do. If you have areas you'd like us to help you with more or do other talks on as we plan 2021, let us know. But do a review to help others so that they too can join in and go, yeah, that's cool. Let's, share the information, share the word. So thank you. Have a wonderful night, and we look forward to being in touch with you soon.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for watching, and we can't wait to see you in our next talks. Have a good night.
Good night.